Hey everyone, you're watching Preppy Kitchen in the new kitchen. I'm John Cannell and I teach you how to make delicious home-cooked dishes to share with your family and friends. Today, by popular demand, we're making this crazy delicious Oreo cheesecake. I want to thank all my followers who recommended this Oreo cheesecake recipe after watching my Oreo balls video. So delicious, I can't wait to share it with you. Let's get started. I can't tell you how excited I am to be in my new kitchen filming, and no, it is not done yet, but this is done enough to film in, and if you hear any murmurs or shakes or whatever else, there's a lot of work going on in the house today, so bear with me. But let's get started. We're gonna be doing some pulsing in the food processor. If you don't have one or you don't wanna lug it out, just get a plastic bag and start crushing. 1 sleeve or 12 Oreos right in there, and let's pulse it up. Don't mind if there's like some big pieces in there, that's totally fine and actually good. All right, these guys are gonna get folded into the batter later on. So let's set them aside for later. And now we're gonna make the Oreo crust. On my cheesecakes, I like having the crust go on the bottom and the side, but a lot of people just want the bottom for some reason. So if that's the case, just use less Oreos. This is 24 Oreos, but I'm gonna use about 30. Whenever I make any recipe with Oreos, I always have to buy an extra package or two and hide them because someone named Brian just like sneaks by. He's like, pulse, pulse. Here I have half a cup or 113 grams of melted butter. We're just gonna drizzle it in as we pulse. This looks perfect. Sometimes when you process the butter in, there can be like a little pool in the center. That's fine, just mix it in by hand with your spatula, but this came out perfect. I'm doing an optional step here. It's not a crazy person step though, because if you've ever gotten a cheesecake off of this springform base, you know it can be a little harrowing. You've been through a lot, you're like, this cheesecake, it has to work out. A little bit of parchment paper at the bottom will make things so much easier. I am channeling some elementary snowflake vibes, and I'm just going to fold it several times, and then estimate the center and just cut, cut, cut. Look at that, perfect. You can add a little bit of butter at the bottom just to help it stick. It's not like you're buttering and flouring a pan though. It might be 13 degrees today, so this butter is rock hard. This is like one of my East Coast lessons. I'm learning that like seasonal baking means that things are different for butter. Okay, just tap that in there, dump this in, spread it out. I want to spread it towards the edges. That's where most of the crumbs are going. I only need just a little bit on the bottom. And now we're gonna get a glass. You wanna have like a nice vertical side to it and just tamp, 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 tamp. So move those crumbs on up. And if you have like a blank space on the bottom, don't worry about it. There we go. Nice. And if you want to make a mud pie, which is like so rich and chocolatey and delicious, click up here for that recipe. It is just the business. It's like very indulgent. This gets set aside into the fridge to chill out for however long it takes you to make the batter. You just want to firm it up a bit so it's going to be a bit more stable. Into the fridge you go. This is a fridge. For the filling, we need room temperature cream cheese. So if it's really cold like it is right now, you're gonna want to have the microwave warm this up for you. Take it out of the foil first though. I set this really close to the oven and it warmed up really nice. If it's not room temperature, you'll have like little granules of cream cheese and it just won't be as smooth as you want. All right, that's 24 ounces or 3 8-ounce packages of room temperature cream cheese. You can add in your half teaspoon of salt right now, as well as 1 full cup of sugar, but let's run this first. 1 cup, 200 grams of sugar. You let this run for a minute, but first let's just give it 1 little scrape. Now, run it on high, let it run for like a minute, 2 minutes. You wanna have a nice creamy cream cheese sugar combo. Look at this. I'm gonna run this on low right now and sift in my 3 tablespoons or about like 24 grams of flour. Now I'm gonna add in half a cup of sour cream. Yes, nice creamy cheesecake. All right, mix that sour cream in there. Look at this. I'm gonna scrape the bowl down, but I will scrape the bowl down, but I wanna show you. These are like beautiful, glossy, homogeneous peaks. That's what you want. If you're really struggling with your cheesecake, and it totally happens, it's not your fault all the time. It's never your fault. So if you have like lumps no matter what, you can make this in a blender or food processor too. Did you know that? It'll come out very smooth. But you don't want to mix too much air in there, so you know, don't go crazy. We're so close to being done with this. Cheesecakes are really a joy to make. All right, here I have 4 eggs. No. 3 eggs and 1 yolk. They're room temperature. We're gonna add them in slowly, one at a time. You do what you can. And the last one. Okay, perfect. Is this done? No. We're missing a couple things. Nice splash of vanilla. So there you go, it's a good splash. And 2, the Oreos. Okay, let's add those in, but we're gonna fold them by hand. And here's the deal. You can either dump all the Oreos in that you roughly chop, or you can layer them in. I'm gonna layer them in. Look at this, oh my gosh. Okay, I don't wanna overmix this. Fine, you can have some streaks of Oreos and a couple blank spaces too. Let's grab our crust and we're ready to go. All right, we're gonna pour our batter in like 3 layers. So pour 1/3 of the batter in first, spread it out just a bit. Now you can add in a sprinkling of your roughly chopped or just, you know, broken up Oreos. It'll look nice and give you a little bit of texture and play of tastes. Add a little bit more. I set aside 12 Oreos for the rough chop, but you could use less. I think I might skimp a bit. Unlike a normal cheesecake where you kind of go crazy about having like a perfect finish, no cracks, yada, yada, yada. This one's easy breezy, like it's gonna have little cracks in it. We're also covering the top with a beautiful black and white chocolate ganache, and it's gonna look just bananas beautiful. And I'm using kind of a smaller, like I think it's like an 8 or 8.5 inch springform pan. If you wanna go for the bigger ones, use a bigger one. Your cheesecake will just be a little bit thinner, but totally delicious. Last layer, I'm just gonna cover up these Oreos and call it a day. And if you think I'm not gonna lick this bowl clean, you don't know who I am. Pop this into the oven, center rack, 350, 10 minutes, then take the temperature down to 300. Don't open the oven, leave it closed, please. Bake it for 45 to 50 minutes until the center is wobbly but set. You'll see some like cracks, it'll rise up. It'll be a little bit brown on the sides, just a little bit. And then you're gonna leave it in the oven for about an hour. You can take it out, cover it, and chill it overnight, or chill for 4 hours minimum, okay? Your cheesecake really needs to chill and set. That is the best way to have it nice, cuttable. It's not gonna be messy, you're gonna love it. Make it a day ahead or make it in the morning. Don't try and rush this step. This one chilled overnight, it's my swap out, and I'm just running a knife along the edge to make sure that there's no stray bits, although, you know, if there are, it's fine. Release that springform pan. This is the tricky part, but you're gonna use your palette knife, and this is where I'm so glad that I used that parchment paper round at the bottom. Yeah, this smells so good. It smells so good. Let's just take the paper off. It'll come right off, and the whole presentation will just look a little bit more clean. There will be a couple of crumbs, don't worry about it. Now it's time for the white and dark chocolate ganache. For that white chocolate ganache, we're adding in 1 cup of white chocolate. I'm using a double boiler, but you could also use a microwave. It's totally up to you. I've been burnt with white chocolate before, burning it in the microwave, so the double boiler seems a bit safer. Just simmering water, not touching the bowl. So once you see the chocolate start to melt on the bottom, just move it around. It's the safest thing to do. 1/3 of a cup of cream goes in here and stir. And I'm actually gonna take it off the heat now. The dark chocolate is way more forgiving, so I'm just gonna add in about 2 tablespoons of the chips. 1 tablespoon of cream and zap it in the microwave at 50% power in like 30-second intervals. Just stir, stir, stir. You don't need a double boiler for it, but you could pop this on the double boiler if you wanted to. So my ganache really sets up pretty quickly. We're gonna pour this onto our chilled cheesecake. Look at that. Gorgeous. We're gonna spread this out now towards the edges a bit because it's a big pool. And the edge is getting covered with whipped cream, so don't worry about that. All we're doing is making a nice little window to gaze into. Now, a couple dollops of dark chocolate. Perfect, we're done. Just kidding. Okay, now we're using my favorite kitchen tool, the skewer, and we're just going to loop this in and out to make a nice marbleized pattern. Look how gorgeous that is. The key is to not over mix, because then it'll muddy things up, but you can have fun with it, just try not to over mix. This can hang out in the fridge for a minute while I make that whipped cream, which you know is super quick. We're crowning this cake with some beautiful and easy whipped cream. So 1 cup of cold, heavy whipped cream into the bowl of your stand mixer, 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, and just a little splash of vanilla. Whip it up. Keep an eye on this. There we go, that's perfect. I want thicker peaks for this, so on the stiffer side, because we're gonna be piping the whipped cream. Okay, fill your piping bag up. If you don't want to pipe this, you could just make little dollops with your spatula, but it'll look so much nicer. To get this look, you're gonna pipe in a spiral as you move along, and yes, I have the cake on a turntable. It makes it so much easier. A turntable is really a must if you like cake decorating, which I do. But if you don't want to do this, regular dollops totally will look nice as well. Little coils, and if you need to stop, you can stop. It's not like, for example, if you didn't make enough whipped cream. That was just close enough. We're gonna garnish this cake with some Oreos, but it'll look nicer if they're cut in half, so I'm just gonna score mine with a sharp knife and chop. Someone was nibbling on my Oreo supplies, so I'm down to the last ones. Just space them evenly apart. You don't have to stress out about it too much. This is actually all chilled and set up. That ganache really hardened quickly. This room is like a refrigerator right now. If you like this recipe, check out my mud pie. It has an Oreo crust, chocolate, everything, and you will love it. But in the meantime, it's time for a bite. Oh my gosh, that was so good. I kind of want to keep like... I need to thank all of you for pushing me to make this recipe and saying, yes, I want an Oreo cheesecake up, because you're the reason I made this and it is really good. So head over to the blog, get that recipe, and bake, 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 bake. You're gonna love it. All right, if you like this recipe, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.